Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. When we talk about recruiting for this class of 2025, you go all the way back to January. We start to put the pieces together, kind of look at the board, see where Tennessee is going to go with this class of 2025. And I think ultimately the goal is go shoot for that top 5 class with Josh Heupel, with this coaching staff, have the ability, have the opportunity to go get that class. And when you look at when Josh Heupel arrived, you've always kind of had that little asterisk, right? Always hanging over it. It's like, well, he's doing a good job recruiting, but he's not at an elite level. A lot of people question him, but you always had that NCAA investigation looming. That is all in the past as we roll into year 4 of the Josh Heupel era. Tennessee currently sitting at 9th in the country according to the On3 industry rankings. And you kind of roll down and you look at this class. I really love what they've done. Of course, Douglas Utu right up there at the top of the class. Marion Dye, 4-star edge rusher. Shady Hayward, Deson Brame, all those guys, including George McIntyre, ranked inside the top 100. And you can look at George, and, you know, the big conversation about him is getting a drop in the rankings when he's not played a single game of football. We're talking about camps. We're talking about practice. So we're going to drop George McIntyre in the rankings. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because you go look across the board right there. On3, 247 Sports, ESPN, Rivals, no matter where you look, George McIntyre was the number 1 player in the state of Tennessee. He was also Josh Heupel's guy. That was his quarterback he wanted to go get in the class of 25. And I think Josh Heupel knows a little something about recruiting elite quarterbacks, and you got to trust the evaluation process. And the bottom line is, look, if George doesn't work out, you've got Jake Merklinger. You also just added Faison Brandon, the number 1 player in the class of 2026. That 2026 quarterback competition is going to be fun to watch because if Nico is who we think he is, he's going to be gone after the 2025 season. You're going to roll into that 2026 year with Jake Merklinger being a redshirt sophomore, hopefully. You're going to see George McIntyre be a redshirt freshman. Faison Brandon is going to be an incoming freshman. That is going to be an elite quarterback competition, and that's how you build a successful program. Iron sharpens iron. We say it all the time. Let the chips fall where they may. If somebody transfers out, so be it, because that means that we've got the elite guy starting at quarterback for Tennessee. But the question we've asked, going all the way back to January, is can Tennessee land that top 5 class? Well, Steve Wilfong video popped up on Twitter yesterday, and he kind of commented on that. Could Tennessee close this thing out with a top 5 class? Also, the latest intel from Steve Wilfong, a little bit more confirmation on 5-star offensive tackle David Sanders. We're going to get into it. We're going to break it all down. But as always, you guys know the deal. I need you to smash the thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, free, easy, and it helps the channel. And you guys are helping the channel because you are attacking the comment section. You know, it kind of came to my mind that sometimes maybe you don't have a comment, maybe you don't have a question. Put a GBO in the comment section. You can see the views on this channel are trending up. The subscriber count is going up, and that is because of you guys. So attack the comment section with a GBO. If it's your first time here, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. This channel is built by fans, for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Going to be live later tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Talkin VAWLS Live. We're going to be breaking down fall camp. We're going to be talking a little recruiting, and we could possibly have a special guest. We'll see. But come join us tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Let's go break it down. Let's go take a listen to Steve Wilfong's comments.
All the stars are aligning for Tennessee to have another really good recruiting class. They sit at number 9 in the On3 industry standings right now. They're very much pushing for the top 5. Now, David Sanders, this is a recruitment where I've liked Tennessee's position for quite some time, but there was a window here in the spring, early summer where I thought Ohio State was really giving them a challenge on the trail. But as the intel continues to come in leading into his commitment this weekend, really like where Tennessee stands.
Looking to chase down that top 2025 class. Steve Wilfong again confirming he really likes where Tennessee stands. Look, Steve Wilfong has pointed everywhere. He's pointed to Ohio State. He's pointed to Nebraska. But I've told you guys over and over, Steve Wilfong is really good. He's really good at what he does. He's really good at his job covering recruiting from a national standpoint. I can't imagine, because it's not just about Tennessee. It's about every team in the country. But he pointed to Nebraska. He pointed to Ohio State. Now, finally, he says everything is aligning for Tennessee to land the five-star offensive tackle, David Sanders. I told you guys, some of you, I think most of you in the comments, most of you in the live chats and the live shows, I think most of you are coming around. Most of you are starting to believe. Most of you are starting to buy in. I get it. There's a little bit of doubt out there for some of you, but when I talk about Steve Wilfong and I talk about Chad Simmons, you always have to trust Austin Price. Now, is he wrong sometimes? Sure. But for the most part, Austin Price has his finger on the pulse for what is going on with Tennessee recruiting. And all along, while the national media was saying Georgia, while the national media was saying Clemson, while they were talking about Ohio State, while they were talking about Nebraska, AP was talking about relationships, the relationships with his coaching staff, David Sanders and his family. There's going to be an NIL deal in place, nice NIL package. That's going to happen for any time you're dealing with the number 2 overall player in the country. He's going to get an NIL deal anywhere he goes. But the latest intel from Steve Wilfong is that Tennessee is trending for the 5-star offensive tackle. Are you buying in yet? Let's hear more.
They have a fantastic receiver class in the fold. They have arguably the best tight end class.
This right here is how we build depth. We know what Rodney Garner has built on that defensive line. We're seeing that linebacker room start to be stacked with depth. You're looking at guys like Edwin Spillman coming in as a freshman, Jeremiah Thielander, Arian Carter. There's some elite talent in that linebacker room. Wide receiver class is solid. You know, we were kind of hoping, you look back, we were hoping to land that 5-star elite talent, a guy like Jamie French, a guy like Caleb Cunningham. But the bottom line is Tennessee went and got 4-star wide receiver Travis Smith, 126 overall prospect, an elite wide receiver prospect. You know, when the board was kind of starting to take shape, and we were seeing guys like Cam Sparks get passed on, Derek Meadows, some of the different guys that Tennessee told, hey, thanks, but no thanks. It's timing, it's numbers. Don't take this visit. It felt like they were pushing all in on Travis Smith, and they got him. 4-star wide receiver Rodarius Jackson, a top 200 guy, also an in-state prospect. Joakim Dotson, 3-star wide receiver, but an in-state prospect. And again, when you're looking at the grand scheme of things with how you're going to spend your NIL money, because it's basically like a salary cap, maybe they pushed all their chips in to go get an elite offensive tackle, David Sanders. And then I think this wide receiver room, it's already loaded. I don't think you necessarily needed that 5-star wide receiver. Do you want him? Of course you want him, but I don't know that you need him. You've already got Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, Chris Brazel, a guy that we've seen making all kinds of plays in fall camp, is only a sophomore. Webb and Nimrod, sophomores. Nathan Laycock, a guy that put a lot of work in the offseason, a guy that really started to buy in. I don't know that he'll contribute this year, but we're seeing a guy that's ready to put his head down, go to work, and I think he is ultimately going to contribute, maybe not this season, maybe 2025, but that wide receiver room is loaded. Also mentions the tight end class being arguably the best in the country. Remember not too long ago when we were in panic mode because Ethan Davis was the only tight end in the room that was on a scholarship? So what do? We go to the portal and we add the number 1 tight end in the portal in Holden States. We go get Miles Kitselman in the portal. And we think it's just a depth piece, but now, you know, a couple of weeks into fall camp, we're hearing that Miles Kitselman is making plays. Miles Kitselman is likely to contribute this fall, and I think some people may be surprised. They may be shocked about how much playing time that Miles Kitselman gets going into this 2024 season. You look into the class of 25, Jack Van Dorselaer, highly ranked 4-star, dropped off just like George. His rankings dropped off. That's fine, 318th nationally. And then you go get the 1 tight end in this class that Josh Heupel and Alec Ablin were willing to pair with Jack Van Dorselaer, and that's Desan Brain. Flipping him from Oregon, absolutely huge, ranked right around the top 100. And by the way, don't look ahead. Don't skip ahead and start talking about the class of 26, but we can do it. We can skip ahead and talk about the class of 26. You already got Carson Sneed committed, a 4-star tight end. He's ranked up there inside the top 200 nationally. And keep your eye on Kendry Harrison, number 1 tight end in the class of 26, top 10 overall player, likes himself some Tennessee, but he's also one of these guys that wants to play 2 sports. He wants to play basketball. North Carolina's also in the mix, but the tight end room, just not too long ago, we were paranoid. And now Steve Wilfong is saying arguably the best tight end room in the class of 25. Let's take a listen to more.
In the country with Brame and Van Dorselaer from Texas, and now they have a chance to add David Sanders alongside Douglas Utu, which would be a hellacious offensive line combo here in the 2025 class.
Again, talk about how we go into panic mode, right? Recruiting's fluid. It's emotional, the highs and lows, the hits and the misses. He just called this offensive line class, if you add David Sanders, hellacious. And not too long ago, a lot of people wanted to fire Glenn Ellerby. They were saying, oh, Josh Heupel's going to get himself in trouble because his loyalty to his old buddy Glenn. And now you have the opportunity to land David Sanders, Douglas Utu, Nick Moore, all highly rated prospects. I love me some Anthony Aguimoro. You look back the last cycle, Max Anderson, William Satterwhite, Bennett Warren, all three guys right around the top 300. Gage Ginther, a tackle body that everybody is raving about, everybody calls underrated. But not too long ago, people wanted to fire Glenn Ellerby, and now we're saying this is a hellacious offensive line haul.
As Utu was as coveted an interior offensive line prospect as there was in the land, he chose Tennessee over Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, and many others.
So Tennessee, as you said, Tennessee sits number 9 currently. We think when David Sanders commits on Saturday, if he picks Tennessee, that'll move them maybe right outside the top 5. We know Tennessee's not done. What do they still need to add, even if they get David Sanders before this class is?
So what he says right there, Tennessee, when Tennessee lands the commitment of 5-star offensive tackle David Sanders, they're going to be right around that top 5, probably 6th nationally. How do they finish up? You got Onis Conanbanny coming off the board a little bit later this month. He is trending to the good guys. All the predictions, all the crystal balls say that Onis Conanbanny, again, a 4-star corner, is going to end up at Tennessee. Does that put him inside the top 5, or are they right around 6th? I think you got to give Josh Heupel an A. You guys can put it in the comment section. You give him an A+, if he goes and gets David Sanders and Onis Conanbanny, but they say they may not be done yet. And what Steve Wilfong goes on to talk about is how they need to add a running back and possibly a linebacker. I made a video a couple of days ago. It's going to pop up. It's going to pop up right around here in just a couple of minutes as we close out this video. 4-star linebacker Jaden Harmon, 6'1", 205 out of Rome, Georgia, currently committed to Alabama, but a little birdie put it in my ear that Tennessee has a very, very good chance to flip him. VolQuest has also been talking about Jaden Harmon and the potential of a flip, so keep your eye on that. We'll see if they can maybe get him in town for a visit, maybe throughout the course of the season. They're also looking to add a running back. 3-star running back Dwan Morris committed to USC. Tennessee tried to get him here a couple of weekends ago when you flipped the Son Brain, when George was in town, David was in town, Shady Hayward committed that weekend. Couldn't get him in town. They were a little late to his recruitment, so they're still swinging, but that's a name to keep an eye on as well. But I think Tennessee has a shot, most likely going to end up inside the top 10. Can they get that top 5? We will see. What do you guys think? Put it in the comment section below. But as always, do me a favor on the way out the door and smash that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. You can go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. That link is down below as well, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. And a quick shout out to all the members of the channel. You guys are what keep the lights on around here. You can hit the join button right beside subscribe. It's just $1. You want to give more, we would greatly appreciate it. We do the fan call-in shows every Sunday. That starts at Talkin VAWLS Elite, and then we work our way down. But we appreciate the support. If not, that's fine. Smash the thumbs up. Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it, because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.